One of the most common questions and comments I see across the channel is where and how to hire good freelancers. In this video, I'm going to tell you why your problem isn't hiring better freelancers. Because your freelancers probably don't suck. It's just you who sucks at hiring freelancers. Now, there will inevitably be a small percentage of freelancers who are just poor at their work and might never be a good fit for you regardless of how good you are at hiring them. But I'm going to walk you through 3 ways to avoid these freelancers so you can have huge success with hiring 99% of your freelance talent. I'll also wrap up with the single most important quality you need to look for in a freelancer regardless of what you're hiring them for. This one quality has been a telltale sign of long-term success that we found when working with freelancers. Those of you who are familiar with this channel know that a lot of this is going to be through the perspective of outsourced YouTube video creation, specifically scripting and editing. We run the channel Freelancers, which is a fully automated YouTube channel, and that is thanks to the 30+ freelancers we have working with us on our team. So all of the information I'm going to discuss comes from my experience working with our Freelancers freelance team, but it should be applicable to practically any business. So the very first thing you need to do when looking for a freelancer is vet them for basic skills. Whatever job you're hiring for, you need to make sure they have the basic skills down to accomplish that job. And this doesn't necessarily mean they need to be super advanced or be super creative. They just need a basic understanding of the skills that you need to be hiring for. So for us, this is mostly writing in English for YouTube scripts or editing videos to produce YouTube videos. And the good thing is this should be pretty easy to figure out because most freelancers should have some sort of work experience that they can show you during the hiring process. Again, for us, it's pretty cut and dry. We want to see some writing experience or some editing experience. And just within a couple seconds of looking at those materials, we can tell whether they have the actual skills needed to produce those materials again in the future. This is also often a prerequisite for many freelance hiring sites. They require that their freelancers post their previous work history or their portfolios onto their account so that prospective hirers can look at those materials and determine if they are a good fit for their jobs. So an immediate red flag is when a freelancer doesn't provide any sort of work experience that shows they are good at doing the job I'm hiring for. Yet I think some people out there still don't really know what to look for when hiring freelancers, so they'll just hire the first freelancer that comes their way without actually vetting whether or not they have the skills necessary. And this is one of the big reasons we use the FreeUp platform for hiring our freelancers, is because they do a lot of this vetting for you before you even get to the hiring stage and even talk with a freelancer. So what FreeUp does is they hire the top 1% of talent, and they do this by meeting with the freelancers and having them fill out thorough applications just to get onto the platform to work as a freelancer on FreeUp. So if you encounter a freelancer when you're hiring on FreeUp, you know that they've already been vetted, you know they've already been checked for their skills and their work history, so you know at the bare minimum they're going to have the skills required to do the jobs that they're out there applying for. And because of this, we've hired the vast majority of our freelancers from the FreeUp platform. And this includes roles like thumbnail creating, video editing, virtual assistants. We have people who do SEO for our websites, all from FreeUp. Because we know as soon as we find them on the platform, they have the skills needed to complete the job that we need filled. So I really can't recommend FreeUp enough, and I will leave a link in the description to that if you are interested. The second thing you need to do when hiring a freelancer is provide them with thorough training documents or SOPs, which are standard operating procedures. This step is super important and is where you should spend probably 90% of your time when you're hiring a freelancer. And the point of this is to tell your freelancer exactly what you want them to do. And I'm not just saying, oh, tell them to edit your video and send it to you in a week. I'm saying you need to break down the entire process of what their job will be step by step. And again, this is where the vast majority of people who hire freelancers go wrong, and that's why they're unhappy with the things that their freelancers produce. They just don't give them enough information and context to produce a good product for them. No one is going to know your business or your needs more than you do. So you really need to spend some time to sit down and write down every single thing that you need your freelancer to do as clearly and concisely as possible. For us, this has been super important, particularly with video editing. Video editing has a lot of creativity involved in it, and there's a lot of areas where a freelancer can make one decision that might not be the best decision that you want to see in the final product. So for example, when we first started this side hustle channel, we were outsourcing the scripting and the editing, and I was just filming the videos, but that meant I needed to really clearly explain what I wanted from both the scripting and the editing to create a product that is what I envisioned from the beginning. So I spent a lot of time creating the editing guidelines. And this isn't just, again, just simple instructions on using B-roll or placing cuts here or there. It is super, super detailed. So first I provided all of the materials that would be included in the edit, like music and sound effects, B-roll access, some of the graphics that we use in the videos, to make sure that the editor had everything they needed. They didn't have to bring anything else to the project that I wasn't providing besides the skill of basic video editing. I also filmed most of these videos in a garage where there was some noise disturbances, so audio correction was an important part of the process. And to make sure that it came out correctly every time, I sent them the exact metrics that I wanted to see for correcting the sound to make sure it sounded good. And this makes it, again, so that when the editor is going through here and making these changes, there's no room for error. They know exactly which buttons to click, what numbers to enter in each spot, so that the product is exactly what we're looking for. And the same goes for visuals. I would quantify the exact color correction metrics I wanted to see based on the camera settings I was shooting on. I illustrated how to position the footage in the camera, or excuse me, how to position the footage in the frame for editing so that it looked appropriate and balanced like I wanted it to for the videos. And here, even with cuts, I specify how many frames to leave before and after sentences in the video so that things flow naturally. And again, this is just eliminating any sort of creative decision that the editor might have to make throughout the edit. So really, they have this guideline. They can go in there and just follow the rules step by step by step and know almost without a doubt that there will be no errors in the final edit. And this is something that you need to repeat regardless of whether it's video editing or advertising or content writing. You need to have a guide for your freelancers to use so that they know exactly what they need to do for your job. Where most freelance hiring goes wrong is they just hire a freelancer and say, hey, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, and they give them no further direction. And then they're upset when the freelancer doesn't do exactly what they wanted, but it's your fault for not explaining it thoroughly in the first place. So at this point, you've vetted your freelancers for their skills, and you've given them a thorough training document, which should fix most of the issues with hiring freelancers. But there's one more step that we like to do, and that's giving them a trial gig before you officially hire them for the long term. This is just one more chance to check your freelancer and make sure they're going to be a good fit for you. In some cases, you might be able to hire freelancers for a test run at a lower rate than a long-term hire would be, and that's just to give them a chance to prove themselves and show that they are a good fit for your business. So this is an opportunity for them to prove that they do have the skills that they have advertised and that they're able to follow the training documents you provided. And then after that little trial run, you should have all of the information you need to determine whether that freelancer is going to be a good fit. At this point, if your training documents are good enough, you should see them produce a final product that is probably 80 to 90% of what you need or better. If it's any less, you might be able to point to their skills not being good enough or your training documents not being good enough. And at that point, you know whether you have to find another freelancer who's a better fit or whether you need to go back and improve your training documents so that you can properly educate your freelancers about what you need from them. And this is where the most important skill that I believe freelancers can have comes into play. And that skill is communication. Because at this point, after that test gig, after giving them all of your training documents, they should be able to understand what you need from them. And if they fall short in any way, you should be able to resolve those issues and tell them how to correct it for the next job within just a couple minutes of discussion. Now, a poor freelancer will be tough to communicate with. They might not communicate quickly or frequently, while a great freelancer will be messaging you throughout the process, maybe before they even have a product to turn in. Maybe they're checking with you and double checking that they're doing things correctly along the way. And you can just tell that they are actively engaged in the project and that they are interested in working with you. The most valuable freelancers we have on our team are the ones who are most frequently messaging us and communicating about the work they're doing. And these are freelancers that we've now had for months, some of them years, and will continue to work with for a long time because it is such a valuable skill beyond the basic skills that we are hiring for. But that is my crash course on how to fix your problems with freelancers and hire successfully practically 99% of the time. Again, be sure to check out FreeUp using the link in the description. And if you want to learn more about how we run our automated YouTube business, check out the playlist on the screen or leave us a comment below. We'll see you guys in the next video.